Hi everyone, so this video is going to be a long one. I'm going to be reviewing most of the piece lubes. So in this video I'll be using a Yushin Little Magic as the kind of test subject. I'll put the lube in, give a general description of it, and then clean it out and then do the next one. And then at the end I will do a general kind of overview of everything, and all the timestamps will be in the description. First we'll be doing Chi lube. Chi lube does not really do much unless you add about 6 or 7 drops. Once you've done that, the cube is a bit quieter and a bit smoother. There is no major change to performance, it just feels a lot nicer to turn. So next up we have Angstrom Gravitas and Angstrom Dignitas. So I'm doing these two together because you put Gravitas on the tracks of the piece and you put Dignitas in the main piece. These lubes can take a while to break in, but together they help to hold the cube together, so the turns feel a lot better if the cube is very loose or flimsy. The actual speed and turning are not affected that much, although it does slow it down if you put a lot in. I just find that the stickiness of the lubes give a similar effect to magnets in a cube. Next, we have Angstrom Compound V. Like most lubes, Angstrom Compound V makes the cube slightly smoother just because it reduces friction. The main quality of this lube, however, is speed. The cube gets a lot faster, especially if it is very slow. The lube speeds up the cube a lot, but does not make it uncontrollable. If the cube is already very fast, then you feel the smoothing effect more. Next, we have Angstrom Compound X. Angstrom Compound V makes the cube slightly slower and a lot smoother. The turns feel a lot more connected as they flow better. If you put a lot in, the cube can slow down quite a bit, but you do not need a lot to get the smoothing effect. Next up, we have D&M 37. D&M 37 is very similar to Angstrom Compound V, water-based with an effect that speeds up the cube. Compared to Angstrom Compound V, D&M 37 keeps the speed for a bit longer before it eventually transitions into a slightly smoother feel. Next up, we have Lubical Silk. Lubical Silk is very similar to Angstrom Compound X, making the cube a lot smoother. The main difference is that Lubical Silk slows down the cube a bit more, and also generally needs slightly more of it to get the same effect. Next up, we have Angstrom Celeritas, the 2-part lubricant.
The effect of Angstrom Celeritas can vary depending on how much of each part you put in, but in general, it provides both a quick and smooth feel at the same time. I've heard the feeling described as a gliding feel, which is pretty accurate. Each move just slides into the next really quickly.
Next up, we have Lubical 1.
Lubical 1 does two things. First, it makes the cube a good amount faster, nearly as fast as the water-based lubes. Secondly, part of it binds to cracks or imperfections in the pieces, so it can make a cube less scratchy and smoother in the long run.
Next up, we have Lubical Speedy.
Lubical Speedy does what you would expect it to, make the cube faster. However, it does not make it as fast as some of the water-based lubes do, and it makes it a bit smoother than they do. So the effect is slightly less pronounced speed that lasts longer.
Next up, we have Cubicle Labs Mystic.
Cubicle Labs Mystic makes the cube slightly faster and quite a lot smoother. It also makes the cube a lot quieter, more so than even the smooth silicone lubes. The Cubicle talk a lot about it being a lube with an instant effect, and it kind of is, but not any more so than any other lube, so I don't know why this is one of their big selling points.
Next up, we have Speedcube Shop Luna. Speedcube Shop Luna makes the cube a lot faster. Not as fast as the water-based lubes Compound X and DNM37, but still very fast. It lasts a bit longer than those lubes though, as it is silicone-based instead of water-based. Next up, we have Speedcube Shop Martian. Speedcube Shop Martian is the next step from Luna. It makes the cube a lot faster, just slightly less than Luna, and it also makes the cube slightly smoother than Luna does. Next up, we have Speedcube Shop Galaxy. Speedcube Shop Galaxy is the next step from Martian Lube. There's a pattern here. So Galaxy makes the cube a little bit faster and a good amount smoother and quieter. Next up, we have Speedcube Shop Nebula. Speedcube Shop Nebula is the smoothest out of the Speedcube Shop Cosmic lubes. It can make the cube slower if you put a lot in, and the main effect is that it makes the cube very smooth and quiet. So I have now given a short overview of each lube, but you probably don't know which ones to get just from that. So which ones should you get? The first thing you have to consider is where to buy them from. There are two main websites you can get them from, Speedcube Shop and The Cubicle. Speedcube Shop sells Chi Lube and the Cosmic Lubes. The Cubicle sells Chi Lube, the Angstrom Lubes, and the Cubicle Lubes. I think the Cubicle has a better selection, so that is where we'll be focusing on. First off, I think you should get Chi Lube. It is the cheapest by far. You can get a bottle for under £1, and it works really well. The effect is nothing drastic, but it makes the cube a lot nicer to turn, so I think this is really good for when you don't want a specific effect, you just feel the cube is really dry. Next, I think we should focus on these 4 lubes: Angstrom Compound V and X, Lubical Silk, and D&M37. So Angstrom Compound V and D&M37 make the cube faster, and Lubical Silk and Angstrom Compound X make the cube smoother. These are effects that you really want to have. So which of the options are better? I think out of the 4, D&M37 and Angstrom Compound X are the ones you should go for, as they just slightly edge out their competitors. So you already have a pretty good selection: Chi Lube for general use, D&M37 to make the cube faster, and Angstrom Compound X to make it smoother. Everything now is just if you have money to spend. You don't really need anything else. If you are looking for something extra, I would probably look at Lubical 1 or Lubical Speedy. Lubical Speedy is really good when you want a cube fast, but not as fast as a water-based lube will give you. Lubical 1 is the best lube for preserving your cubes, and has a very fast effect.